He's amazing. He's a Wall Street powerhouse. I titled this video "Taint Licking" because, well, this,
The best line I could say is, let the greatest deal maker make his deals,
Yeah.
right? When you don't bet on Donald Trump, you're making a mistake. He understands. He's got great people around him. Let him work through the process of getting a better deal from everybody else in the world. We're going to do it smart. We're going to do it thoughtfully. We don't want to raise the price of these things like little toys on the shelf. Why would we want to do that? We love Americans,
Yeah.
but let him build pharmaceuticals, semiconductors, steel, autos. Come on, let the guy build America back
And just
and trust him. And he's really, really on it. And I think people just get so, and especially the left, they just smear it all together as if it's all one thing. It's not all one thing. He's really smart. Let him make the great deals. And you're going to read them and you're going to see them. And I think my guess is he that probably doesn't want to announce like one deal alone.
oh, oh, let him do his deals. As you know, he ghostwrote. He had a ghostwriter write Art of the Deal. He's a great deal maker. But the funniest thing is that was about 10 seconds in saying he surrounded himself with brilliant people who he's already firing because it's only been 100 days and nobody lasts long in the Trump White House. But here we are. And so I wanted to talk about the 100-day mark and some of the interesting things that have happened. Of course, I know you've heard others on other shows. It's 100-day week and we have to. So I would feel left out if we didn't talk about it. But as usual, I've got a great guest to make me look competent. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. So I'm going to get that right there. So let's get on with the show. It's a lot to talk about. I'm Fred Wellman. This is On Democracy, FP Wellman, and exclusively on the Midas Touch Network and on the FP Wellman Substack. Let's do a show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am still Fred Wellman. It's been, I think, 20 seconds since I told you last time. I got a great guest, as of course I do. If you don't know him, I think you've probably seen him around. Ahmed Baba. He has got a great lot of. He's a journalist. He's a political analyst. Project 125 expert. Has his own news. Ahmed Baba News. I mean, it's just a lot to talk about. Ahmed, welcome to the show. It's great to have you, man.
thank you for having me, man. Especially on such a consequential, important week of reflection on the wonderful 100 days of Dear Leader, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and was that unbelievable?
Yeah.
I saw you. So for those who understand the background here, I can see my guest in the green room, and we're both like pounding our heads on our desks watching this madness, right?
Yeah, the Howard Lutnick clip was just I just could not
Oh.
the groveling was just so unbelievable. I don't how can you say that with a straight face and not
Right.
feel any shame, it's
Yeah.
unbelievable, man.
He's a New York guy. I mean, the thing that bothers me about Lutnick especially is, I went to college in New York. My first wife was from New York. I mean, we've all known who Donald Trump is. He was a mockery in New York. Lutnick knows or knew who Donald Trump was, and that it's that mindset of these guys who have joined this cavalcade of this circus that always amazes me. I guess the first question I should ask you up front then, looking at that madness is what is the most surprising thing? I mean, you studied Project 2025, so set the same work. You've looked at this like I did. You've done a lot of work about Project 2025. You've seen, you kind of predicted the track of these things, which we'll get into more detail. But looking at it all, has anything really surprised you?
None of the actions, like the steps they've taken have really surprised me, but what kinda did surprise me, and in a good way, is the velocity of them doing it all at once. Like,
Yeah.
they did phases 1, 2, and 3 of Project 2025 kinda all at once, and the inclusion of Elon Musk as, like, the mascot,
Yeah.
let's just say it was not written into the pages of Project 2025 that he would have a
No.
chance while on the CPAC stage and be a total fool essentially and reveal all of this to the public. So I really think one of the things that I find kind of heartening in a surprising way is the level of the incompetence that has dragged over from the first term and the fact
Yeah.
that it's even worse because of the lack of guardrails. Like you would think with the lack of guardrails, potentially they'd have maybe Russell vote. What I expected was maybe a more full methodical approach right off the bat.
Yeah.
I expected
Yeah.
maybe a little bit more if you had all these years to plan. They're talking all this game of these executive orders they're ready to roll out, and then he comes out the gate stumbling, and now they're effectively shooting themselves in the foot by trying to spark a unilateral unnecessary recession. So you
Yeah.
can't. It's almost as if one of the things that I find positive is that the chaos is almost eroding and hindering some of the authoritarian ambitions because you gotta build the economy up first before you
Yeah.
try to inflict your will, or else you're gonna turn the people against you. So I'm kind of surprised at how quickly um he turned the people against him because he could have rode in to a 60% approval rating if he just golfed and didn't touch Biden's economy and
Yeah.
did nothing, right?
Yeah. Right. 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 And he was riding. I mean, that's a lot of ways they did the first time.
Yeah.
But it does feel like they did a lot at once, perhaps to their detriment. I mean, it does, and I do think you're right. I mean, it's interesting to me what you bring up, and I do want to pull that thread is the Elon Musk involvement. All this was sort of it almost feels like a left field. I mean, when we talk, I did videos in November of last year, a year ago, whatever,
Yeah.
23. Jesus, time flies. Oh, but I did videos about in 23 about Project 2025, what was in it, what was coming throughout 24. We talked about it. And then Musk kind of showed those last like 4 or 5 months of the campaign. And then this Doge thing, which had kind of intertwined. It is a little bit of a left field. And do you think it's upended the card a little bit of what their finely tuned machine plan was when he showed up, just as you said, wielding a chainsaw?
I think when you have someone as incompetent as Donald Trump, who brings in someone as incompetent as Elon Musk, someone as frenetic, who equals his frenetic narcissistic energy, right? Then you get a situation where you're cutting nuclear sites accidentally, where you're shutting down Ebola prevention, and then you have to roll it back. When you bring someone who came into to Twitter and did that fork in the road thing, and you have him come apply the same thing, I think you get this situation where you have the richest man on earth cutting social programs for vulnerable Americans. It was so in your face, and
Yeah.
I really think, Musk really bought his way in there. Like, I also have been covering wrote my first explainer on it in 2023, and I saw you as among those first people who were on top of it, and, we all saw this kinda looming authoritarian march,
Yep.
but again, I thought, and what I feared, was this methodical approach, and once the cabinet appointments were picked, once I saw the Doge thing starting to move, I was like, "Oh, his biggest flaw is still here. He's incompetent, he's impatient." And then you had Musk, who was also incompetent and impatient, trying to run those cuts instead of Russell Vought, which is the mode they're gonna move into now, which we could talk about in the future about their future
Yeah.
approach. But
Yeah.
man, it was kind of a blessing in disguise, bro, because they really lifted the mask immediately off this entire situation. That's why his poll numbers are plummeting, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I really agreed. It was like my expectation of Project 25 was methodical implementation
Mhm.
phase quickly though. I mean, they weren't it was gonna be within a year, I think,
Yeah.
because they knew they had to get it done before the midterms really ramped up, right? So they could say it was done.
Mhm.
And then they hit it, and you're right. It's a great perspective. Trump 1.0 was slow. I mean, it was a hot mess, and with these guys, yeah, all the opposite.
Yeah.
They came careening it off. It's like, fuck everybody, you know,
Yeah.
and it doesn't help. They all hate each other too. I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, these characters all hate each other, right? So it really did. It almost in a lot of ways, their carefully crafted plan got upended by the ADHD ketamine guys, right?
Exactly. And and of course, some of this could have been expected with the lack of guardrails, and there's no Mark Esper
Yeah.
at defense. There's no Don McGahn. There's no John Kelly as chief of staff.
No, it
So we
doesn't.
kind of we expected, unadulterated Trump id. But but the thing is, like, they went through, like, you're supposed to first you dismantle, first you purge the civil servants, right? You do it
Right.
first, right?
Right.
And then you once you have your loyalists installed methodically, which should have, you challenge specific statutes, you do it in a way that Chief Justice Roberts could have greenlit instead of doing it so sloppily. Then I thought they were going to do that and then dismantle the agencies in a few months. Then you have the loyalists in place to actually enact the agenda, dismantle the agencies, bring the FTC, FCC under direct, executive control. Then, you move to go to the education department. I thought they were going to do
Yeah.
that. And then after that, you've got the whole government under your control. So now you say, okay, now we'll target DEI. Now we'll target, now we're going to inflict our agenda. And instead they did it all at once, week one.
Yeah.
And I was in shock, but at the same time, like, oh, they're being dumb about this, especially as someone who studied every step of that plan. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, they're going off script a little bit. They're
Yeah.
going a little off script. So I really think, I know it's kind of nuanced, and, so it's still concerning the damage that they're doing, but nonetheless, it's just, they're stumbling over themselves and failing in a lot more ways than people, I think, are giving them credit for. The court injunctions, especially over 120 rulings